Salutations, one and all. This is my reaction and review to RWBY's Queendom Episode 5, Awaken in a Dream. And I really feel like last episode did a great job of showing us how exactly Weiss views the world. She views her brother as this little brat / bat who's always sneaking around and spying on everybody. She views her father as this giant face in the sky looking down on her. She views her grandfather, Big Nicholas, as almost a religious figure who built everything from the ground up. And she views her mother as a drunken shadow, which makes some sense. I mean, she is certainly a drunk. My best guess for the shadow thing is, the people in high society are shadows because they lack any substance, they lack any real depth to them. That's the best explanation. That's the best explanation I come up with for that. As for why exactly John, Ren, and Nora were mewing in a cage and acting like cats, no idea. Abso-freaking-lutely no idea. That was weird. That was really weird. Then we had the White Fang, though, who were all, depicted as inhuman monsters, which so overwhelmingly racist, but it makes a lot of sense from Weiss's perspective. She has, no experience actually meeting the White Fang. All she knows is, the stories she's heard from her father, from the company, all the people the White Fang have killed. So, of course, that's how she'd view them. And it's going to be very interesting when Blake shows up. Oh, very, very interesting. And then there's RWBY, though, which was weird. I mean, she was a snowboarder. Why? And as the episode continued, it seemed to be implied that Dream Weiss knew Dream RWBY, and at one point they were friends, but eventually Weiss had to cut ties with her in order to become the proper heiress of the Schnee Dust Company. And I'm guessing, RWBY is a snowboarder because in Weiss's mind, snowboarding is like this super free activity that only people who have, time to relax and enjoy themselves can do. And maybe, RWBY was trying to bring her into that life. Maybe Dream RWBY was trying to get Weiss to go snowboarding, to have fun, to take a break. But Weiss, couldn't do it because it would mean distancing herself from being that perfect Weiss, from being her dream version of herself. So, yeah, I guess, the big goal of this whole arc inside of Weiss's dream is basically to convince her, Weiss, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a princess. You don't have to try so freaking hard. You can have fun. You can be a kid, which is something Weiss, I think, really wants, but just isn't able to admit to right now. But, let's get started. I'm very excited to see what happens next. In 3, 2, 1. That is some very intense panting going on right there. Okay, this is one of those things where if you die in the dream, you die in real life. Because if so, that has been explained to abso-freaking-lutely nobody. That feels like, the first rule you need to tell people. More so than, you can use these coins to make duplicates of yourself, or doorways, or call me. Just tell them, okay, if you die in the dream, you die in real life. Oh, that was a very sharp cut to RWBY's little doll figure. Interesting. Okay, how exactly is Dream Weiss going to make sense of that? Actually, how exactly did Dream Weiss make sense of RWBY being able to make duplicates of herself and then teleport through a doorway? I mean, RWBY's semblance is very powerful, very impressive, but it can't do that. Okay, so that one is in fact Grumpy Klein, which really raises the question, what exactly was the dog? Because he also looked very grumpy. Oh, this is going to be very, very awkward, as she needs to explain how exactly Weiss views the White Fang. Oh, Blake might not want to help Weiss after hearing about that. Okay, technically she doesn't hate you, she hates the dream version of you. Also, I think RWBY picked some very, very poor words to explain things to Weiss, saying, I'm going to free you from this, and then I never want to see you again. That's not the kind of thing that'll convince Weiss that you're here to help her. Nega Weiss! Oh, I love it, I love it. Please tell me at some point we're gonna have Weiss fighting Nega Weiss. Oh, I would love that. Also, does Nega Weiss not have a scar? I thought she did before, but here she doesn't. That would make a lot of sense. The scar is, symbolic of Weiss's own imperfection. Her inability to face off against the Grimm without, suffering at least some damage. So it would make sense that her, dream version of herself would not have that same scar. That's a fairly good response from Yang there. I mean, yes, RWBY is a leader, but that doesn't mean she needs to do everything by herself. It means she needs to find the best way to work with everyone to help them reach their goals. She really was nasty, and so was her opinion of the faunus of the White Fang, so I could see why RWBY doesn't really want Blake to go in there. Okay, Team Juniper finally showed up. I was really wondering why they weren't here when Team RWBY was there for John's exorcism. Weird, very weird. Also, RWBY, are you gonna tell John how Weiss feels about him and Ren and Nora? Again, why the freak were they cats? Why? Ooh, that look right there, really? Because clearly John has some feelings for Weiss right now, and Pyrrha is already feeling jealous. I mean, I don't really feel like they've established that all that well so far in, Ice Queendom, but that does follow the logic of the main series, so I still like it. Also, I'm just now wondering, could RWBY just, obliterate this Grimm by herself? I know it's being protected by Weiss, but, she has the power to do it. Couldn't, Ozpin give her a whole lecture on the right way to use her true power to take out the Grimm? That would probably make more sense, though I guess even this could be, a test on his part to make sure that RWBY knows how to lead a team, to make sure that her team is, a strong, cohesive unit so they don't crack and fall apart down the road. Okay, so how exactly does Weiss view Yang and Blake? I do think that it was mentioned that, Weiss is having problems with someone dressed all in black, so I guess that would be Blake. Oh, interesting. So Blake has one cat ear and one bow. I mean, that's definitely cute, and I do think it actually does make a lot of sense because, Weiss is still trying to deal with her feelings for Blake, viewing her as her teammate and a faunus as well, and there's a bit of a contradiction there. Though, she definitely looks more human than the members of the White Fang that Weiss was imagining before, so that's a positive. Not perfect, but it is a positive. Oh, God. Wow, that's so cute. I love Yang. I freaking love Yang. Though she doesn't really look all that different. She feels pretty similar to her character. I mean, her outfit feels maybe a bit more similar to what she wears in later seasons, but nothing's really standing out for her. Though, of course, she has her motorcycle, because of freaking course she does. Apparently Weiss can't imagine her without the goddamn motorcycle. Oh, I love that. I freaking love that. That was weird. That is very weird. Is Weiss just not paid enough attention to RWBY's weapon to know how it fired? Or does she feel like RWBY's weapon would fire better this way? I'm so confused by that. Also, I just now realized that Blake has cat paws? Are those gloves? Or does she actually have the hands of a cat? I mean, it is certainly adorable. And again, I love her one ear, one bow. That is so freaking cute. Okay. I feel like Blake didn't have, that much slack back in the waking world, so does Weiss just not know how far she can throw it and assumes that goes for, miles and miles? So I guess it means Blake is more powerful in the dream. Yay! And again, she has the hands of a cat. So cute. Yeah, Yang's gonna punch something. Freaking course Yang's gonna punch something. Okay! I feel like that was a bit more powerful than it was in the waking world, so are Blake and Yang actually stronger while they're in Weiss's dream? Does Weiss actually view them as being that much stronger? But she views RWBY as basically being the same, or maybe even weaker than she was in the waking world? That's interesting. Though I guess you could argue that RWBY used her semblance better last episode. She was able to go full three-dimensional, going up the side of buildings and scaling walls with it, which really wasn't something she did until much later into the series. So that could also make sense. Weiss doesn't actually know how RWBY's semblance works. I mean, she has paid shockingly little attention to how RWBY actually fights, apparently. Also, I love, just now noticed it, that the flower on Ruby's back is now white, or a bluish white. White Rose is canon, people! Woo! Okay, so now they're actually making good use of the coins, unlike RWBY, who dropped a freaking red flag last episode when she said, "Oh, I have so many coins, I'll never run out." Bad idea, RWBY, bad idea. Though I do think that last episode really highlighted well how childish RWBY was at the start of the series. You know, she's just kind of going with the flow. She followed a bunch of factory workers and then started working in the factory. As if that would somehow lead her to Weiss. Oh, I love that. I freaking love that. Okay, what now? If we use up the last one, we'll get trapped in the dream? That's new. That wasn't actually mentioned last episode at all, so yeah, that's problematic. That is very, very problematic, and I can almost guarantee you that that will happen at some point. He'll use up their last coin to save Weiss or save one themselves or do something, and then they'll realize, okay, we need to, take out the nightmare, or we'll be trapped in here forever. Or at least until Weiss dies. Oh, Blake's holding on to Yang right there. Bumblebee lives on top of Bumblebee. That's the name of a bike. Love that. Okay, again we have this sign. It didn't really make any sense to RWBY back then. And my best guess was it was, Weiss feeling contradicted, not knowing where she should go in her life because she was constantly given, different orders from her father. Do this, do that, do that, do that. And she couldn't, live up to all of them. Oh boy, are we going to get a repeat of what happened last time? Because, oh, I want to see Blake's reaction. I really badly want to see Blake's reaction to this. Okay, Blake seems to be handling this vision of her former gang quite well. And it's not, it's definitely racist, like I said before, but the White Fang did a lot of damage to Weiss's company and killed a lot of people who probably shouldn't have been killed. Okay, so the doors are still there from last time. That is incredibly helpful. It means RWBY can just go right to, the higher level, mid-level of the city. Nice! Moshi Moshi, I love that. I know this is just, it's Japanese, it's an anime, but still, it's a freaking RWBY anime. That is so cool. Okay, RWBY, just as a, bit of advice here, would you consider giving Blake your hat? Because this whole city, super racist. No fairness is here at all. And Blake, while only one of her ears is sticking out, it's kind of freaking noticeable. Really, bad idea. Very, very bad idea for her to be walking around like that. Oh! Yeah, I guess Blake would have a very strong reaction to Justking. That almost never came up in the main series, which is something I'm still angry about, but yeah, he's the one that caused so much damage to the faunus that caused, essentially slavery to occur. So, yeah, that's bad. Very, very bad. Obviously, Blake's gonna be mad at him. He absolutely is a jerk, gang. I can guarantee that. Okay, so this whole thing is basically happening on a loop at this point. Even the scene we saw before of the White Fang attacking the train was literally the exact same scene from last episode, which, it's not a super important scene. It doesn't have to be different from last time, and even, it being the same makes sense if Weiss is repeating the dream over and over again as she's falling into more and more despair. Okay, this is all literally line from line exactly what happened last episode, which, I would say is annoying and repetitive, but it just makes the whole thing so overwhelmingly creepy. I love it. Okay. That was interesting. The White Knight was a symbol of Team RWBY. That's the piece they all took, and that's what made them a team. And yet the glass coffin, again, that's Snow White, she fell into it and could only be saved by a kiss. We're getting a White Rose kiss this season, people. I guarantee it. Possibly. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what the coffin is going to be used for. Maybe once Nightmare is fully fed on Weiss, it'll throw her in there because, she'll be dead? Possibly. We don't actually know what happens once this Scram, fully devours its prey. Hey! Okay. This is Pyrrha singing Mirror, Mirror, which is Weiss's song. I guess that makes some sense because Pyrrha is, Weiss's idealized version of herself. Pyrrha is who she wants to be, the perfect warrior, the perfect huntress, but it's just a form that she isn't able to take because she, basically is not worthy because she can't reach perfection, while Pyrrha herself is, deeply, deeply unhappy because, she wants people to stop saying she's perfect. She wants to stop living up to this perfect image of herself everyone has. So yeah, Weiss and Pyrrha are weird mirror images of one another, and this song is actually very appropriate. Though why exactly is Pyrrha considered a silly? Is it because she teamed up with Jean and, didn't team up with Weiss? I mean, that wasn't really her choice. Weird, very weird. Aw, John has a hat now. Good for him. Again, I'm not really sure why these four are considered sillies, or why three of them keep mewing like cats. Okay, that is some creepy, creepy waving with those blank expressions. Also, Ruby, you don't want to free them from jail? Just cut through the bars, let them run, let them go free? I know they're just dreams, but again, they could help you. They could distract the guards long enough for you to, break into the central area. And again, that line really can fit either Weiss or Pyrrha. Weiss is lonely because she's, pushing herself so hard to be the utterly best, the utterly perfect, while Pyrrha is lonely because everyone views her as perfect, and therefore, they avoid her. They feel like they aren't worthy of being around her. But John, he basically said, I've never freaking heard of you before, and I don't even like the cereal that you're the mascot for. Oh, I love John. I really do. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot that Blake, her whole semblance is basically decoy. Very helpful, very, very helpful. And again, it makes her a freaking great spy. I feel like the first mission would have gone so much better if they, put Ruby and Blake in together. Both of them, fairly good at recon, and Blake has the actual experience to, have been a whole lot better at it than Ruby was. Okay, this certainly looks like a higher level of society. Very expensive painting on the walls. And a very, very rich store. Oh my. Okay, so much wrong with that. So Weiss basically views being the perfect Schnee daughter as a tomb, as a dead end, as something that will essentially kill her. It's grim? I'm not really sure what else to think about that. Though it is probably better than hearing your drunken mother's cackling laughter for the rest of your life. Wow. That is certainly dark. I mean, Blake does certainly exist in the dream as the figure in black who keeps appearing and disappearing. In fact, she's so good at appearing and disappearing that Weiss was never able to capture her and put her in the tower at all. Yay! That is not a terrible idea on Ruby's part. I mean, they want to go to the tower, and these, giant robots want to take them to the tower. Could work. And if, they don't take away the coins or their weapons, they can just, open a portal right out of the tower and go wherever they need to. So, not a bad plan. Oh, plus Blake is not actually surrendering, so she can, still try and infiltrate the tower through her own methods. Not a bad idea. Hey, Sleepy. That's, I think 4 or 5 of the 7 dwarfs so far. Okay, I gotta say, for a prison, this is not all that bad. And they even have the bunk beds. Yay! And my light just went off. Boo! Whatever. Oh, okay, so the tower isn't a prison. It's all of the things that Weiss treasures and values put in one place. And that includes her teammates. But these are things that she can't have distracting her from being the perfect Schnee daughter. Okay, I wasn't expecting to see that sign there. Maybe it was, again, a reflection on how Weiss is being pulled in different directions, and even though this is something she wants, it's not something she can really go after or accept herself wanting. And a red knight. That is interesting. I guess red could be RWBY, so the red chess piece represents RWBY then? Okay, so then the white chess piece that was inside of the coffin represents Weiss, so is there a black and a yellow one as well, and they need to gather them together to combine to form the ultimate chess piece? Probably not. Is she sleeping? Is she seriously sleeping right here? How long has this thing been going on? She made herself a full hammock, too. I feel like she's not taking this all that seriously. Okay, so Blake managed to break into the tower. Good for her. She is, in fact, a really competent spy. Oh, God. Bashful Blake. Oh, I love it. I freaking love it. Also, where exactly did she put the blade there? You know, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Yeah, again, RWBY and Blake make a very good infiltration team. Yang is the obvious person to stay back, even though Dream Yang has a whole bunch of firepower. Oh, dang. Okay, so this is actually the Schnee Manor from, was it like volume, was it 8? Yeah, volume 8. So, interesting. Holy God above, that is... Again, they keep doing things here that are just so utterly unnerving. And there's few things more terrifying than a room that just continues on for infinity. Hey! It's Nega Weiss! Yay! Oh, wow, that was really racist. Though, interesting, she said that to Blake, apparently. There's no room for fairness here, so what exactly is the relationship between Weiss and Dream Weiss and Dream Blake, then? Very curious about that. And it's over. So sad. Next episode, do you have a plan? I can guarantee you they do not. Alright, so this episode, I really love the introduction of, the rest of the team, because RWBY on her own was kind of a disaster, wasting her coins, doing weird stuff like getting a factory job inside of Weiss's dream for some reason. But, once Blake and Yang showed up, they were able to help her, able to sneak around, able to, formulate better plans, then let's just see what happens. And it also does seem like counter to what RWBY thought. Weiss does actually care about them and put them somewhere safe where, they wouldn't be hurt, where they could be protected, a place for all the things that Weiss truly cherishes, but isn't able to accept, isn't able to embrace, because that would distract her from her plan of, becoming the ultimate Schnee and living up to the name of Big Nicholas. Even as it drives her insane, and she gets closer and closer to a crystal coffin, which again referenced Snow White, but is still really overwhelmingly creepy. Though again, like I said before, Snow White was saved by a kiss. So we might actually get some White Rose content here. I know that's asking for a lot, but, a man can dream. A man can dream. Anyway, next episode, I guess, is going to be, them trying to fight against Weiss again. Or maybe they'll, let themselves be captured and Blake can figure out where exactly Weiss puts her, where exactly Weiss believes she belongs, because that'll be where, the black chess piece is. And then they just need to find, Yang's chess piece. Then they'll have 3 of the chess pieces, which they can combine with Weiss's chess piece to form the ultimate chess piece. Or, wake up Weiss from the dream, or somehow manage to replace Dream Weiss, Nega Weiss, with the real Weiss, which would certainly be interesting. I would love to see Weiss wake up and just decide to burn this entire city to the ground and destroy every statue of her father. That would be healing. That would be very, very healing. But please let me know what you think about all this down below. Does RWBY actually have a plan here? Are there actually going to be 4 chess pieces they need to collect? Where exactly does Blake belong in this nightmare, and how are they going to free Weiss? And until next time, peace!